Dad saved coins in a giant glass bottle that had previously contained whiskey. One night he reckoned it was time to count them. He poured them onto a fold-out card table in the living room near the fireplace. I watched the pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters trickle down into a pile. Touching the coins with great care, Dad separated them into stacks. He was not a materialistic man. I never knew him to buy anything for himself but work tools. But he lived in a materialistic world, a system of goods and services that required monetary compensation. He added figures on a notepad and a calculator. He left the family room for a while and returned to count the coins a second time. I walked past. "Sarah, come here," Dad said. "What?" I asked. "You have something to tell me?" "No." "You sure?" "Yes." Dad sighed and looked at his coins. "I know what you did," he said. "What?" "You took a nickel." "No, I didn't," I said. "Sarah, don't lie to me. I didn't take it. Just be honest and I won't get mad at you." "I didn't." Dad sighed again and put his head in his hands, agonizing over what the moment meant to him. A nickel was unaccounted for, and every missing cent was his fault. Money was what made the world go round, I learned fast. I knew how to compare prices on tags before I knew how to read words. Yet money was a lie. Pieces of paper and metal suggesting prices for goods, services, labor, and human beings themselves in a way that often had more to do with profit than with true value. We were on the losing end of that lie, no matter how many acres of wheat we farmed. Wealth and income inequality were nothing rare in global history. What was peculiar about the class system in the United States, though, is that for centuries we denied it existed. At every rung of the economic ladder, Americans believed that hard work and a little know-how were all a person needed to get ahead. But the American dream has a price tag on it. The cost changes depending on where you're born and to whom, with what color skin, and with how much money in your parents' bank account. The poorer you are, the higher the price. You can pay an entire life in labor, it turns out, and have nothing to show for it. Less than nothing even. Debt, injury, abject need. No matter who you are or what you started with, though, your fortunes are not assured. For decades, more people fell down the ladder than climbed up it. The American economy is less like a dream supported by democracy than it is like an inconsistent God. Most of us, regardless of economic station, sacrifice a great deal to it. And that can be a satisfying agreement. Grandpa Arnie loved working the land, not for the price of wheat per bushel, but because smelling damp earth at sunrise felt like a holy experience. Dad loved building something beautiful out of good lumber, not for the paycheck, but for seeing his own creativity turned into a sturdy, useful structure. The pleasure Mom got when she sold a little house in Wichita wasn't just for the small commission, but for the tears in the family's eyes when she handed them the keys. Work can be a true communion with resources, materials, other people. I have no issue with work. Its relationship to the economy, whose work is assigned what value, is where the trouble comes in. My family's labor was undervalued to such an extent that, while we never starved or went without shelter in a chronic way, we all knew what it felt like to need something essential: food, shoes, a safe place to live, a rent payment, a trip to the doctor, and go without it for lack of money. That's the sort of mess I wanted out of. That's the sort of mess I never wanted you to experience.